Okay, so this video is going to be a little darker than what people would like me to talk about, probably or want to hear. I am not promoting. As a reminder, this is not about, I'm not enlisting. I'm merely informing and warning people. And this one goes out to the assholes from the dealers that I got involved with back before that my family and their piece of shit asshole friends enlisted to help them do this, along with every person I thought was my friend, who is not. Super fun. One of the things that y'all should have been aware of is the way these assholes operate. Now, I talk about, I've mentioned it on my Facebook that people get payment for helping them. I'm not talking about cash load sums payments, things that are notably trackable, traceable, things that, unless you got a generic job with them for some reason, you would not be able to get money from them on that level, and they wouldn't do it. They would do other things like favors from the people that I hung out before that were my send-off group. The cops are not going to bust you because of what you've done, because you're helping them. And if you get more of your people to help them, then you're not going to get in trouble with the cops. You're less likely to. You're less likely to run into those generic situations. They might throw some people under the bus. They would have their reasons. It could be a show of force to show that, hey, I can fix this by you not having to worry about it. You just have to be smart and kiss my ass and do what I want. So I'm going to poke holes in y'all's world today. With how they've tracked and done this shit with me, they could easily just be lining up your plugs. One plug that you go to gets their shit from another plug. And they could be looking for the big kahuna. To them, average law enforcement, they could use ways of doing it so that it appears that they got a win out of shit by busting this kahuna, this bigger drug dealer, and look far enough up the line so it doesn't appear to connect to you. If these dealers were to find out, knowing how certain people are, like cartels and shit like that, I've seen back in the day, because I worked with somebody who showed me the websites to go to about when they were, I don't remember what they're called, but other countries don't censor things so much as United States of America does. So when people get beheaded, when people get gunned down by these people, these things are put in the news, on websites, on news, they're broadcast and advertised. I'm thinking there's a good possibility that these pieces of shit, because they want to appear like they're doing good and still upholding the law, even though they're terrorists, they're sexual predators, they're sex traffickers, and I'm just one person of multiple people over the United States alone that they've done this to, in large groups, mass quantities. That's when they do things like that alone, that's how like things like ISIS form. when they have their own agendas, their own government policies, their own views on how the government should be and how it should be run and how it should go. They get to get away with doing certain things, but kind of like Negan from The Walking Dead. He's a rapist. He's anti-rape, but he takes whatever wives he wants when he's in power, and they are forced to be with him and have sex with him and be just his, or their husband or a loved one gets hurt or dies. But if one of his guys rapes, or the husband tries to get back with the wife, or the wife tries to get back with the husband, he hurts them. But he's a rapist. He's flat out a rapist. Negan in The Walking Dead, when he's in power and does what he does with the women, when they show you his aspect with that, he's a rapist. But he is anti it. Contradiction there. So it's kind of like the same level of that shit. So for all you little assholes who call yourself just like basic pieces of shit and are getting perks from this shit, aka your payment, mom's house doesn't get busted, Douglas. I get to drive like a stupid idiot, Douglas, and nobody's pulling me over, especially with you in my car, because they don't want you going to jail, because then they lose half their supply, and that doesn't work for them. But y'all are expendable, I promise you. Especially once I'm off this planet, y'all are the first ones they're going to screw over because they can't help themselves. So y'all are expendable. So enjoy the perks while they're around. As far as to the kahunas, on the off chance any of you guys, as easy as it was for these low-life nobodies to get involved and believe these people and want to be on board with it, if they're that easily swayed, I'm saying you're probably going to be as easily swayed to be aware that this is happening. And that's going to put your franchise at risk. And they will, more than likely, push to follow the plug line up so they can find the bigger fish and give somebody it. If some of the information is true about the TI stuff, because I myself have had a I can't get anybody to press charges on anybody with anything, even being raped. Like, outright knowing I was raped. I mean, I've been sex trafficked my entire life, but like one of the people I went to try within my time frame, I have up to 10 years to try to press charges. I didn't even get a call back from the officer that it wasn't going anywhere. He told me he was going to set me up with some people that were like a victims unit so that I could like have a space to talk to. Never got a call. Never got a call from the people. And when that didn't happen, I don't know if I've had this happen where they blocked phone calls from me when I was trying to get a job, and I'd have a voicemail pop up, but I didn't even have a voicemail pop up letting me know that they had attempted to call. So that would mean that they would be planning to give them something at some point. So they appear like they're doing their job. And no offense, but if you're a police officer, complicated as my situation is, anybody who chooses to do drugs, you know you're breaking the law. Your reasons for choosing to do drugs, it is what it is. And there are plenty of people that choose to do drugs that know if they get caught, and it is what it is, and that's on them. And then there are plenty of people that do it and want to blame everybody else in the entire world, so they don't ever have to take the blame for it. The little assholes right now are being extra, using the fact that I switched to the headset because I get better quality and they don't fuck with the volume on it. This one, I'm like literally rechecking my hand placement where my finger is, and I don't block the microphone. I did a video on this twice, and they changed the way my sound comes in, as if it's me moving my hand or finger over the microphone and then suddenly removing it, so I come in louder and clearer and then go back to a toned down level of shit. So for you little fuckheads, Douglas, Poe, Rust, not sure if you're going to be watching this. I'm assuming it'll get to you eventually. And seeing that they take views off my videos, I've literally logged in and seen that I posted a video and I had views already posted to my video. And then I rechecked it a little bit later and the view is gone. Or multiple views are gone. So they're crafty little bitches. Yeah, I don't know who to reach out to get this more noted. It's a big enough phenomenon that psychologists and psychiatrists are talking about it. It's really stupid to hear a psychologist and a psychiatrist talk about it and not think things through. What personality disorder does these things? What personality disorder does these things? Narcissistic personality disorder does these things. A malignant narcissist, a combination of antisocial and narcissistic personality disorder, does these things. And what else about MPD? The less likely they are to get in trouble and the more tactical maneuvers they have to get away with it, the harder they'll go. And the more flamboyant and the more obvious they'll be about their shit. And the more aggressive they'll be. And so to the cartel, at the end of this row for Poe, Rust, and Stephen Douglas, and their groups, which technically they're one, hope you don't find anybody get busted between, I don't know, since I started in their group around end of March, April 2016 to God knows when, till I die, or even after. Because I know it's like a needle in a haystack, but they would do it just to make themselves look good. Like they did a community service here. And y'all are the first ones they would throw under the bus, because my family, who's full of these little nasty little pieces of shit, they're so superior that they love the fact that they don't have an actual record. And if you have an actual record, you're more likely to get thrown under the bus. If you already got shit on your record, they'll throw you under the bus. Just to use force to show I'm in charge. I'm always in charge. And narcissistic personality disorder will screw other narcissistic personality disorders over. Especially if they feel they're better. We were on the same page, but now you're not useful to me. Or maybe I need to make you angry so that you understand that I'm still in charge. Things like that. So, to you motherfuckers, good luck. I didn't lie. These people are apparently connected to government factions, and I don't classify anybody that does this stuff and uses this technology and uses these tactics. And the government itself issued out that things like this, and especially on this level, and this infringement on human rights alone is not allowed. And someone coming up to you and saying it's used for national security purposes, it's not. This is beyond national security purposes. They fuck with the president, I'm pretty sure. I was watching, or wasn't watching, I was in therapy, and my therapist mentioned that Trump had word salad a lot. Biden sounds even more of a dumbass than he did before when he was working for Obama's administration. And I don't ever recall anybody mentioning any mental illness levels on, like, seriousness for Trump himself. I mean, he was a tycoon. Everybody knew that. But the level of shit he showed while his presidency, very possible these assholes were playing around with him. So who's really the president if that's the case? Is it the person we elect? Or is it a group of people that think they know better? A group of people that like making fun of people, enjoy humiliating people. My cousin Deborah works for them, Meganoza, and a friend of my father works for them, Michael Butts, a childhood friend I grew up around. They're both Secret Service agents. That shit alone is supposed to add to me sounding more paranoid, because that's just what people in my position are supposed to sound like. But, you know, people with narcissistic personality disorder, they get excited when they can mimic shit to appear a certain way so that you sound crazy, and that makes them look good. And the fucked up thing is, the reality is what I'm looking at. So, no, I don't care if I sound crazy. I don't care if I sound paranoid. And I know it's not impossible. So good luck to you motherfuckers. Oh, and in case you're wondering, my cousin Deborah, you can look this up, got noted by the FBI in her college years for doing some big change research paper on suggestions for sex trafficking and how to handle it. And for her family to be involved in something that has been sex trafficking one of their alleged family members for as many years as it has, it's should be humiliating as fuck for her to be involved in this, because she's a lying sack of shit to talk about making changes or ideas to better law enforcement to prevent it while their family is engaging in it and helping with it, and staying silent to my face about it, but also told on themselves throughout the entire thing. And they told themselves from when I was younger, and I figured it out, which sounds crazy, but once you know how narcissistic personality works, and especially when they're grooming their children to see if they pass and do what they're supposed to do, how they want to do it, then you figure it out. And then it starts to add up. And then you've got like a wave of emotions to deal with, and on my level, I can't even feel them. And thanks to them, I don't have time to feel them, and I even have to question if my feelings are real about them. So, because you like to do what NPTs like to do, and making my worst nightmare your butthole of jokes and your sick sadistic pleasure, when you guaranteed I had a kid and made sure that I gave him up to adoption to a family close to our family, so y'all can stay close to him, and I told y'all this before, they intend to groom him. And to them, they should know it's grooming, and they should know what they are. There is the also problem with NPD on every NPD scale, the delusions of grandeur, their fantasies. Dr. Fox just did a video about their fantasies. He did say on the narcissistic scale, I know people, especially with Amber Heard shit going all over the place, talk about borderlines and that they can be narcissistic. They're stopping right now because they're trying to fuck with me right now. Okay. They're not NPDs. And NPDs build their whole identity around their fantasy that's fed into their grandeur delusions, and that is their identity. For example, my cousin Stacy, who's been like the star that they tried to fake ass sound like she was being scapegoated during this process, and she's not. Like she was allegedly scapegoated during her childhood. She was not. Do you know why I know she wasn't? I think I've mentioned this before, and how with all this shit, how it added up, and I figured out what personality disorder she has for damn sure. To what degree it's on, I have no fucking clue. A lot of the people I'm dealing with are malignant, covert narcissists. And just because they're malignant, covert, as Dr. Romney said and Dr. Fox said, you can be covert and still show grandioseness. You can show overt. An overt side, as if you're grandiose. You can be grandiose and show a covert side. It doesn't matter if you're covert or overt. You can do it, they do it, it happens all the time. It's how they operate. And the more power they feel they have, the more they show off. Even the coverts. People who spent years pretending they were being silent about things, and they weren't being silent about things. And Stacy identified as being a victim, and she is not a victim anymore. She is a sex trafficker, a sexual predator, and because they like to talk about pedophilic fantasies and engage in pedophilic fantasies, a pedophile, because audio counts as grooming. And she has not openly told me herself that she's against this. And as long as you know you're victimizing, terrorizing, destroying another human being, threatening another human being the way that they've done it, controlling another human being the way they've done it, and any narcissistic personality does it. Oh, wow, they just stopped my thought process there. Oh, wow. God, y'all are assholes. They think this is supposed to scare off anybody who comes across my shit for the drug dealers. Like I said, they were easily swayed. If you were easily swayed, what makes you think higher ups won't have any fucking clue what's going on? Follow the plug trail is all they had to do. You hit one person up, they pay attention to that person, the next person, the next person. I didn't lie. Anyway, so my cousin Stacy identifies as a victim. And the reason why I know this is because she has, other than her hair being slightly longer in the shoulders, the exact same hairstyle and has maintained it her entire life. Her entire life, through childhood, through her teens, through her young adult years. She's 29 now. She just turned 29. And if she's changed her hair since this shit has happened, it's only because she keeps trying to convince people she's a borderline. And she's not. Because, you know, when you hear about borderlines, you hear they're misunderstood, and it is. It's a very misunderstood personality disorder. It is one of the most promising personality disorders and recovery. Hence the reason why it's very misunderstood, which these fuckers have no shot in hell of recovering because they don't want to. They kill themselves and show off that they look like they're living their lives, and they're not. NPDs are not actually living their lives when they do this shit, and they do this shit. And nobody is living their life when they're living like this. And I don't classify the way NPDs, and that I'm biased, maybe Dr. Fox says, as a survival thing. I classify it as a superiority thing. Has nothing to do with survival. Not a damn thing. Just, I'm the best. So she identifies as a victim, has broken the law on multiple occasions, and done enough felonies and helped with enough felonies and accessory to enough shit that she probably would be serving multiple life sentences if I could find enough evidence to bring to court and take them to court and have them arrested and see if I could get them sent to prison for the rest of their lives. But like I said, they're special. And borderlines, when you read about them, they talk about it being a gifted personality. It's complex when people talk about them not being empathic and shutting down and showing the pseudo side that narcissists can show, where they switch back and forth. They don't mean to. A narcissist does. Borderlines react. They don't mean to. They don't know how to get out of it. A narcissist or an NPD does it on purpose. It's bad behavior that they learn, or bad ways of handling shit that they've learned. It happens on different levels, and it happens in different ways, and they're not all the same, and they don't all present looking exactly the same. You have to know what you're talking about, and you have to learn how it operates in order to understand how you operate. And they tend to want to get better. Not all. Some like the attention, but a lot of them like to get better, and it is promising. Dr. Fox said it is one of the most promising personality disorders to work through and move past and build a future on, which is really sad. It's really sad for the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard case. I posted a video on my Facebook for this. Both are at fault. I'm not 100% sure if Amber Heard's 100% lying on everything. And I'm not 100% sure that Johnny Depp's 100% telling the truth on everything. I did not appreciate Johnny Depp's character, and I love Johnny Depp. Loved him. Thought he was great. Love his acting still in movies. Fantastic actor. But his behavior over this shit, I understand, like, wanting to say you're completely innocent. From what people have talked about, I still haven't had a chance to find the tapes and hear the audio from them. And I don't know how one-sided the audio was. Because if it was Johnny Depp recording it, people with NPD try to make themselves look like the victim in the process while they're recording shit. And will do things to trigger a person. If they've got a borderline that they're dating or married to, they will trigger them on purpose to show other people, see, I didn't do anything wrong there. but she's acting crazy. And she was going to hurt me, and she hurt me, and she was abusive, and he was abusive, and blah, 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 blah. They will purposely do that. They are not nice when it comes down to them being humiliated, or if there's a shot in hell, that their behavior is going to end them up in trouble. So just remember that. People make fun of Amber Heard when she talks about Johnny Depp, or did talk about Johnny Depp in court. That's the borderline. The idealization, the remembering of him, the moment to moment when she met him, all the feelings she was feeling when she met him, coming back. And people said, I don't see how somebody can abuse somebody and be this way and talk about somebody they love this way. Allegedly. That's borderline. That's what she does. She can't help it. She's literally unable to help it because she's remembering how she felt and her emotions are coming back up. She's remembering everything to her core, to her body's core of how she felt. You know why? Because I've been there. It's the downside between idealizing them and then even when you're coming out of it, if you've been in a narcissistic relationship with an NPD, you remembering what they did to you too, and then becoming so angry and hating every ounce of them. So don't make fun of her because she can't help it with her personality disorder. While all the fans of Johnny Depp that have been giving her death threats on top of everything else seem to be showing a narcissistic personality disorder sign and a misunderstanding of things. If you don't understand it, don't comment on it. Because all you're doing is making ignorant comments about shit you don't understand. You don't understand borderline personality disorder, and you don't understand the spectrums, and you don't understand that you just don't understand. So kiss my ass, assholes. Very fucked up. So, like I said, this video is a warning. And, yeah. So, friendly reminder to you fuckheads. I know how those fuckers can react to just general people in Mexico. So, imagine a level in case there is truth there. And you can blame me, but you only have yourself to thank. Because people like them, especially when they claim to be working for government agencies, once you're useless to them, they will screw you over just to look good. So good luck.